Hello and welcome to Hobby Hangout, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Good. So
finally, all three have minis.
Woohoo! Hey everyone who's joining in for the stream, welcome to Hobby Hangout. This is a place where Painting Happy Little Minis hosts Dave Taylor and Gretchen Settle and myself, the video editor, usually behind the scenes. We come together and we paint miniatures for about an hour and a half. And today, as Gretchen has said, I made a special delivery and I grabbed miniatures and paint for Gretchen and I. So now we can actually paint today, which is really exciting. So welcome everyone, and let us know where you're watching from, and we will say hi to you in just a minute. But, Gretchen, what are you painting today?
All right, so I like the dragons, which is probably why you dropped one off. So I'm going to be painting a red dragon from 𝙂𝙖𝙢𝙞𝙣𝙜 Marvelous Miniatures. Say that fast. And I'm going to paint the red dragon. I think it's a young red dragon, actually, if I boop around.
Yes, it is.
Yep, okay. Except instead of painting it red, because I can never follow directions, I think I'm going to try to do a galaxy theme. I think that would be really fun and could look really cool. So, like, you know those paintings where people like do the kind of watercolory effect? Because I have contrast paints here, also thanks to Leona. I think I'm going to do that and speckle some stars on the inside of his wings and paint him black on the outside. And then down here, you can see that I have that bright lime green. I'm going to try to make that almost like the Northern Lights or like the kind of Milky Way or whatever with stars. I'm not an astronomer.
Yeah.
But I think it'll look nice.
That's super cool. I love it. We lost Dave there for a second, but he's back.
Excellent.
Yes, he just messaged me on Facebook going, "There's lag."
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It'll be fine now.
I'm not sure if that's from my end, with my daughter's probably streaming some TV show about horses, or if it was happening somewhere else. But yeah, for just like the last 3 minutes, it was all.
It was all a blur.
That's fine. That's good.
Thankfully, I knew we were talking about dragons and miniatures and painting. So
exactly.
We're all good.
Gretchen was just talking about stuff. So, and stuff that she's working on and how she's going to paint this dragon. What are you working on today, Dave?
Me, I am still working on the Slaughter Brute / Mutilath Vortex Beast. I've got the actually, I'll throw it under the light here. Still can't see it. So this is the piece that goes on its back when it is a Mutilath Vortex Beast. So I've got to paint that up. So I'm going to make that a lot brighter in the center. So bright yellow in the center, and then have it fade out to sort of orange through to like the spikes on this Chaos Star that are around it are going to be sort of like a bronze kind of color. So like a tinny tin.
Nice.
Work towards. So, but I've just got some contrast paint on there that's just drying at the moment. So.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Real quick, I wanted to say hi to our friends who are in the chat right now. We have someone from Facebook. If you are watching on the stream in the Painting Happy Little Minis group, make sure you let StreamYard access your info, and then we can see your name. That's the secret. But hello to Dave Moffat. Hello to Kat Swift. Hello to Roger Moore. Howdy to someone from Pawnee, Oklahoma. Very cool. Hello to Wacky Wacky.
Excellent.
David Moffat is in his kitchen at the moment watching some Age of Sigmar time-worn ruins. So I can prime them after the show. Very nice. And then cool. Also David is saying hello to everyone. And Roger. Roger Moore is in his home office teaching and watching this on his final days of teaching.
Teaching days.
cool, which is
Lucky.
nice. All
Here in
right.
Maryland, we have 3 more weeks. 3 more weeks of teaching.
3
School.
more?
3 more.
That
3
is
more.
crazy. And
It is.
intense.
Yep. So fun.
My parents teach at a private school, so they decided that they were ending early. They were like, yeah, we're going to be done this week, which is part of it. So for those of you who are watching, let us know what projects that you are working on currently and the different miniature projects that maybe you worked on this past weekend. Also, what did you guys end up doing for Memorial Day? Any special things on that Monday off?
No, I slept in. I made pancakes.
Pancakes is good. How about you, Dave?
As a freelancer, there is no such thing as a day off. So
that's what I figured.
Yeah, I did some work. But we also grilled some chicken and some steak and some asparagus. So that was quite nice.
Yummy. That sounds delicious. Apparently, Roger Moore said that they are officially done next week, Dave.
Okay.
Also, hello to Michael Harris, who's watching. Hello to Byron. And hello to Chris Layfield. Apparently, they're all done school in Florida. Obviously, work continues still.
Indeed.
Roger Moore is working on some D&D Ravenloft. Almost done. I feel like Roger has been working on that for a little while. I feel like a couple weeks off.
Yep.
I feel like every week I ask and I'm like, and he always types the D&D Ravenloft.
Yep. Nice.
Someone on Facebook is putting together the new Core Space resin minis.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Chris is painting the interior of a Valkyrie. Very cool.
Nice work.
Is that a tank?
Well, what he's done is he's taken a Norse mythological being and cut it open.
Okay.
No. It's a space plane from 40K.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
David Moffat said, my daughter's school goes until June 26th, so lots of homeschooling to go. Woo!
Yeah.
Wacky Wacky is working on a new story. That's cool.
Oh, cool.
Oh, hi, Dave. It's Dave Shrump. That's who was invisible to us. You are visible now. We see you.
Visible now.
Excellent.
Hey, Dave.
Oh, Tommy Simbazo. Hey, Tommy. He says, I've been working on Takes a Deep Breath, built stop sign armor for my motorcycle vest, put a stop sign grill for my helmet, finished a leather pick guard for my project guitar I've been working on, and built leather COVID masks, and am currently working on Cthulhu-themed engineer's bag. Whoa!
You have been busy.
Awesome.
Are you like me, where if you don't have a job to do, you go insane unless you make one? Like a border collie? Because that's where I'm at. I've done so much gardening work. Like, my boyfriend was asking me, does this need to get done? Or are you? And I was like, oh no, I'm just creating things.
You're like, I'm making projects for myself right now.
I redid the master bedroom. I went out and I just pulled weeds. I can't sit still.
On social media, I've seen some of Tommy's pictures of his work, and it's pretty cool. Oh, Dave, what do you want to show us? Oh, there we go. We see it.
So
that's awesome.
So that's on the back of the Munilith Vortex Beast. Just looking a little bit like, kind of like lava. But yes, sorry. You were saying?
Oh no, I was just saying. Man, the chat is blowing up, and I cannot keep up. Kat has a question. In a long painting session, my left elbow starts to really hurt. Arm I brace with on the table. Does this happen to you? If so, how do you deal with it? Good question.
I don't get that issue, but I do have arthritis. So like my other hand bits will get angry. I just take breaks. I mean, when we paint on the show, we're painting for 2 hours, so that's not a big deal. But like if I'm painting for a really long time, I looked up a bunch of different stretches. I just do that.
Right.
How about you, Dave?
Yep. I am very fortunate in that I don't get that. But basically, the question is: do you lean against this part of your arm, or is the elbow leaning on the surface? But I think probably my answer for that, either one would be if you have a maybe get hold of a elbow brace, not brace, but you know, the almost like compression tubes, sleeves that you can put on that go over your elbow, so that you have some padding, whether you're resting it on the table or against the table. You've got some padding there. I'm not sure if that's the issue. If the issue is resting
something
against it,
else,
or if it's something inside the joint.
Right.
But if it's inside the joint, certainly Gretchen's idea with the working out some stretches and some movement. Are you double jointed there?
Stretches,
no.
Stretches, NSAIDs. If it's swollen for any reason, then I'll do ice packs.
Right.
Although it's not painting, I do work on the computer all the time. And so for me, I try to make sure that the chair I'm sitting in and the desk I have are lined up to my body parts, if that makes sense. So I kind of get it so that I'm not my elbows, so that I'm not leaning too far forward with my elbow, so that my elbow becomes it doesn't become a weight support. Correct. So that it's not supporting my weight.
Right. Okay.
It's instead, it's just a pivot for the hand to, like, it's just a stabilizer. Okay. So I don't know if that means like even just adding like a book or two, putting that on. You basically can rest your elbows on books, and then, because I don't know if it's because your weight is on there. So as you said, sometimes those little things help, depending on getting blood flow there correctly. So all good things. Michael Harris is working playing with the new airbrush. Very cool. He's got some Reaper minis primed and is learning new techniques now, which is always nice. David Schrumpf is cleaning up some Nolzur's minis today.
Excellent.
Tommy says, I do have a day job, but I've been working 13 hours overtime each week, but I still can't sit still.
That sounds great, Tommy.
Yeah.
That's fair. Apparently for Dave with the Nolzur's miniatures, the caked on primer has been driving them batty. Which I understand. Some of them, I think, especially in the dragons with the wings that are curved, it's easy for that to happen.
Okay.
In response, Kat said she cut up some tube socks and put it on, but it's not too good.
Right.
Also, I want
something that was a little bit had a little bit more padding, I think.
Like what? What would that be?
Well, I think you can buy like the only thing I can think of is a knee brace that I have upstairs that I occasionally use for when I'm working conventions.
Gotcha.
But it's more like a neoprene, I guess. It's something that's thicker and more padded. So I'm not sure if that might work. Or I guess the other thing would be putting something like that on your desk so that you've got padding on the desk rather than just being solid.
Right.
Yeah.
You just put a pillow on your desk. For your desk.
Obviously not my desk. There's no room for a pillow. But yep.
I also want to say hello to Justin, who says good morning.
Hey, boo.
Very nice. Oh, Kat says an actual brace would be good. I end up painting for 4 or 5 hours. I get too focused. That's fine. Oh, and then someone else said, agreed with me, like you have to watch your posture.
Yeah. In
terms of painting. Oh, Dave said on the red dragons, he added hot water to the wing. He hot water dipped them and then stretched out the wings.
Okay.
To spread them. That is really cool. Now I kind of want to do that, but I don't want to go put the kettle on. Bye, guys. Gonna go make some.
Yeah, don't leave us alone here. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, Justin says hi, Dave, to you.
Cool.
Special shout out.
Yep.
So a week or two ago, I posted in the group asking like what different techniques people were working on, mini painting related. And it was pretty interesting to see what people had been trying and practicing. And for those of you watching, let us know. Oh, Gretchen, I'm gonna mute you. for those of you watching, let us know like what techniques you are practicing or trying out or would like to try out, because it's always fun to hear what different people are working on. And one of them, overwhelmingly, people were practicing object source lighting, or OSL, another way to refer to that. And so I kind of wanted to open it up today and as part of our discussion, like what is OSL? How does it work? Why is it good to use? When you should use it? Stuff like that. So if you guys, people watching, if you have ideas, totally write them down in the chat. But I'm just going to kind of open it up to Gretchen and Dave to talk about for a little bit. So.
Sure thing. Who's going to go first?
What, we go first? You always make me go first. So with light source stuff, I think that the easiest way for me to go about it is to recreate the light source I'm trying to make. I don't typically do anything fanciful, especially in like 3D stuff with minis. I haven't really tried it that often. I haven't done much with it. In 2D paintings, I can do it from memory. I can do like a little blob and be like, that's my light source, and painting it. But I find I'm a lot more successful if I have something that I am looking off of. Because shadows are tricksy, and like basic shadows are cool, but if you're trying to get that warm glow of, you know, a fire or a candle or something like that, then it's knowing what you're looking for in order to paint it realistically is really important. And I think when it comes to minis, what I've seen the most on people's is trying to get that really soft, nice gradient, and then keeping track of where everything is supposed to be in the bigger picture of that miniatures world. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. Back to you, Dave.
But as you said, like figuring out a full kind of like making sure OSL works well with the scene, like you're not just putting it there randomly.
I think if you go, and again, I haven't painted light source stuff on miniatures in particular, but I think it'd make it easier. If I were to switch from 2D to 3D for that, I would definitely pay more attention to that. Yes.
Cool.
Excellent. Yes, I think we originally were thinking about talking about this last week, but we didn't. We kind of ran out of time during the show. But I sent Leona a few photos that hopefully we can bring up and have a look.
I just remembered that you wanted to talk about those.
It's funny because before the show, when we get together and we talk about what we're going to do, But anyway, no.
Here we go.
So cool. Okay, yeah, this is a good one to start with. So I think my personal feelings on object source lighting are, if you've gone through and you've done a lot of development of your painting, a lot of progression of your painting, so that you're looking for to achieve more realistic appearance in your miniatures. Object source lighting is one of those next steps that you can take kind of beyond that. You can paint things like headlights on vehicles, or glowing runes, or flaming spell effects and that kind of stuff. But you don't necessarily have to take it beyond that basic painting of it. By paying attention to what's around it and how the light would affect what's around it is taking that next step. You're thinking more deeply about your miniature. This particular one on there is a Genestealer hybrid. And Leon, if I can just get you to zoom in a bit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Up here?
Yep. So all of these hybrids are all modeled with little lamps on their shoulder. They're all this gear that they're wearing is kind of like mining gear. So they're used to spending their time underground. So I have an army of has about 80 models, 80 or so models that are that have this mining lamp on the shoulder.
Okay.
And I thought it would be fun to kind of mess around and just paint some of that yellow glow around the light itself. One thing I wanted to show this one because it shows you how poorly I tackle object source lighting. I say that because last week, at the end of last week's show, we showed some pieces by Victoria Lamb, who's a fantastic painter from Australia. And I took an object source lighting class from Victoria, and she said the important thing to remember is that the light source that you want to have in your OSL, the object that is that light source, should be the brightest thing. And to make it appear most successful, it has to be surrounded by darker colors or darker tones. And now, if you look at this, I've chosen a bone-colored scheme for my for the outfit, for the armor, and then put a yellow light in it that isn't as bright or isn't brighter than the bone. Yeah. So I've kind of done the opposite of what Victoria suggested.
Gotcha.
But for here, I've just done it across, as I said, like 80 miniatures, and it just gives that impression that there's a light on their shoulder. But yeah.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, you do, but I think it still looks cool, personally. So we can have a look at the next one. Well, let's not look at this one just yet.
Okay.
This one's a good one. So this one is by a friend of mine, 𝙂𝙖𝙢𝙤, who is in Russia. I actually own this miniature now. He painted this up. It's from the old 𝙂𝙖𝙢𝙤 game, Dark Age. And if we can zoom in on the head and the hammer.
There we go.
Yeah. You can see that it's like an object source lighting idea there. So Igor here is taking that much better approach where it is the brightest thing on the model, that sort of center point for the light, whether it's on the face or it's on the hammer. But it's giving that really strong sort of glow. You feel that it's glowing from inside there. Putting it inside that darker armor or the dark hammerhead really helps that. One thing that Igor's done here, though, is something that a lot of people do when they're working with OSL, is to really push that, sort of really push the feeling of that effect. Push the light. The light kind of bends around, and is shown on the on the
mask.
So yeah. My point sort of being, if you can switch back to me for a sec. Here we go. So if this is that sort of the flat panel of the hammerhead, and the light is sitting back behind it, you wouldn't actually see any of the glow from this on that flat face out there. So if the light is shining through a hole here,
Gotcha.
it's going to try and sort of out in a cone sort of shape. The rays of light will shine out like that. So it won't wrap around like they do on that hammer. But again, it's a fairly common way that people tackle OSL to really sort of push that look.
Nice.
But the other funny thing is as well with this, so 𝙂𝙖𝙢 managed to do it with that having the darker metal on the hammer or the dark metal on the helmet and on the bracer on the forearm there, but they're all at sort of extremities, so they don't have a lot of dark things around them, completely around them, to emphasize that light.
Gotcha.
So let's have a look. I think there's
a couple more.
Yep, there's that one. So that one.
You want to talk about this one at all?
Yeah. So there's a plasma gun. So the coils of the plasma gun there in the blue, and then again, this is using a similar approach to what I used with the with that gene stealer at the start, with just a little bit of that blue, the light spilling out onto the armor and onto his face. But it looks pretty good from that angle. Pretty happy with that one. And similar sort of thing here, but again, you'll notice that blue light that's on top of his shoulders there. Again, it's at the outside of the model, and it's spilling blue light down onto that pale white skin. I'm not sure why, but I have a tendency to decide to do that on the worst possible places. So that covers a lot of my stuff. So now we can have a look at some brilliant, spectacular work from the masters. This one here, I cannot for the life of me remember who painted this one. My friend Damon put me onto it. Pardon?
I said, "Oh, Dave."
I know, I'm the worst. But this one's great. There's kind of like a general lighting on the models, but one of the clearest things you can see here is the light. The fire is the brightest thing, and it's in the center. So everything around it is darker, which makes that fire really kind of stand out. But the way that it's casting that sort of yellowish orange light up onto all of those figures is sort of very key. And if the guy who's standing up on the right, who has his foot up on the barrel, if you have a look at his shoulder, yeah, just there. So at the front of the shoulder, that's pointing down towards the fire, it's getting that nice sort of orangey glow onto like a brown leather. And look, but as it goes up over his shoulder, where the light would stop, light from the fire, the object source stops hitting there. So it hits his shoulder there, but doesn't wrap around. That light back there is from a different source, and it's probably the moon.
You're saying this one, yeah.
Yeah, along the edge there. So the back of those models is actually painted in a whole series of deep blues.
Yeah, you can. I feel like you can see it a little bit better on this guy.
On that guy, yeah.
Jason James had a question. Would holding a pen light where your light source is and taking a picture help at all?
Very much.
That would be a reference.
Yep, definitely.
In terms of like the scene that you're trying to create, I think that's a great idea. And David Moffat says, I'm not generally a big OSL, but the campfire scene is spectacular, and I Have to
It's
agree with
amazing,
that.
isn't it?
And Roger agrees as well. It is very nice.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you can really see the moon, I think, right here.
Yeah.
All along the edges.
Yeah.
Which at first glance, I didn't even really notice. Which is very impressive. Because that means that it's like so natural.
Yeah, everything just looks the way it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Very subtly done. What's the next one? This one, I wanted to include this one. This one's not particularly object source lighting, but it is a sort of a light composition kind of thing. So in there at the top is a Blood Angel Space Marine of some kind with the big white wings, and then as it sort of descends, you sort of descend the piece, it gets darker and darker and less saturated. The colors become less saturated. This is basically a space. This is a piece done by Roman Lepat. Roman has the massive voodoo blogspot. So if you want to check that out, just look up Roman Lepat or Massive Voodoo. This one I think is called The Last Light, but it very much has a fantastic source light feel, as if the light is coming from, so I guess up and to the left, shining down on that in a fairly focused beam,
right
down on central that primary figure. But yeah, I wanted to include that. So we can...
It's nice because I feel like this is, as you said, not necessarily object source lighting, but it shows how you can utilize light still within a composition.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
To create like movement and stuff like that all the way down. But this is definitely like a set piece.
Yeah, yep, without doubt.
Oh yeah, we looked at these last week. I don't know if you want
these last week, but yeah, we'll have a quick look at them again.
Okay.
But so we have a look at the one on the right first.
Okay.
A closer look on. So yeah, this is the rescue of Sister Joan. Fantastic composition, like diorama composition, but very much the object source lighting is the thing that really pushes that sort of over the top. You can see the central point there for that that burning torch is it's just great, and the way that it spreads, you got like an interesting even spread of light around it. Working, it's like that sphere that, around it, but
yeah, right here.
Look at the top of the towards the top of the arch, the main arch. I guess you can see where the light is growing dim. I guess and it works up there. But this is one where the diorama itself would have been really cool. To look at if it didn't have the object source lighting, and and Victoria just painted that torch as a torch.
Right.
It would have looked fantastic, but adding the object source lighting is just really taking it over the top. It's, elevates it to the level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gives a lot of makes the scene dynamic. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it's more real, isn't it?
Also, I wanted to say hi to Graham. They're joining from the UK.
Hey, Graham.
Hi, Graham.
Welcome. So, yeah, the piece on the left there. I can't remember the name of this one, but again, there's a Victoria Lamb, and yeah, you can just see how the flame is just illuminating that piece. Obviously, it looks great being photographed against a black background.
Yeah.
But even against a white background, or even in real life, it does look absolutely spectacular. But again, you can see that there's a point at the ends of those flame pistols that she's got that's the brightest on anywhere on the model. So it's brighter than her white hair or the interior of the white cloaks. It's brighter than both of those. So that's one way Victoria would have deliberately made that choice. So it's the brightest point on the model, and then you've got that similar sort of sphere around the model from those points where that the glow dims, I guess. The glow lessens. But yeah, spectacular work.
It's kind of like what Chris says. It helps to look at the masters of oil painting to see how it's done properly, or even the masters in mini painting, like Victoria.
Like
and just
we're looking at now, yeah.
Just copy her.
Yeah, I mean, it's no bad thing.
Yeah, and just replicate, or at least that's how you can figure out your own style.
Yeah.
Is there one more? Oh god.
So yeah, this one here is also by Roman.
Wow.
So there is no. This isn't part of a large diorama where there is fire, but
Gotcha.
you can feel that there's a fire just off to your right. Yeah. When you look at this piece. This is also a fantastic study in the complementary colors, contrasting colors. So the orange and the blue there.
Yep.
But again, it's making sure that the light source would be the brightest thing. So the pieces that are closest to it or catching the most light from it are the lightest parts. So this one really has two light sources that are affecting the model differently and impacting it with their colors as well.
I feel like the light source and the colors people choose also really affects the mood of Mini.
Yeah, very definitely.
Yeah, she looks like part of a Walking Dead episode.
Right.
Like it's slightly spooky, but that warmth of that fire is still warm.
Yeah.
So like maybe in the evening, but you think something spooky might happen, but maybe not. You're all around the fire. Maybe you like
maybe
it really just helps add to the story overall. I think it would be a much different effect if that was a different shade of those colors.
Yep. Or if that was yellow and purple.
That's what I was thinking, like purple light.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, you're exactly right, Gretchen. For this one, for the color choices, I would also point to a scene in Fury Road where they're driving through the night, and the wives have a lantern sort of in the back seat, so they're in orange, and the rest of the world outside is in that blue.
It's a good effect.
Very cool. But yeah, again, Roman Lepat. Okay.
Did you want to jump back to that one with the guy and the cat?
Yeah.
Wow.
There we go.
It's not a cat. What is that? What is that?
It's a special cat, and the fact that it's a monkey. But
it's a monkey.
It's a cat that does not meow.
Yeah. So again, this is another great example. When I mentioned like my previous examples where I'm saying that like it should be the brightest thing on the light source should be the brightest thing in the model, surrounded by darker, everything else is darker than it. This is that's a classic example of it. I think this is Sergio Calvo Rubio from Spain. I'm pretty sure it's him. But yeah, you can see there are different. You see the way that the model is the guy is sort of leaning forward over that thing, whatever it is that's emanating the light there. You see where it's catching on the inside of the hands.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
the top of his, sort of the underside of the turban there, even like under his cheeks, under his eyebrows, there.
The ear.
And, yeah, inside the ears of the monkey. Yeah, it's just giving a really fantastic, fantastic look. But again, that's one where no doubt Sergio would have gone in with and put a light source at that point. I remember who suggested that earlier, but
Oh yeah, Jason James was asking that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is one where I'm absolutely certain that that's something Sergio would have done and then photographed it and then gone back and used that as reference, without a doubt.
Because yeah, I feel like that's a little bit difficult to just think of in your brain, like where light hits.
You think you know how the world works until you try to paint it from memory. And
then you're like,
when you realize you don't. Yeah. You're like, that looks right. And then you're like, nope.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you want to say anything else about that, or?
No, I'm not 100% sure why I sent all of those photos, but I think the general point is object source sliding is a cool thing to try to continue to push your painting.
Right.
Don't feel you ever have to do it, but it can be a fun thing to mess around with. Always try to, when you choose to use it, always try to use it where you have where it's the light source is the brightest thing in the picture. So actually, yeah, I just noticed here on the side of the that's affecting that from these bright light sources. But it makes it the brightest thing on the miniature or the diorama or whatever you happen to be painting, and then have some darker colors around it, some darker tones. And if you're doing something where there's a very strong light source coming from one direction, make sure on the opposite side of the model there's strong shadow as well, which will help you to sort of sell the impression, which is really what a lot of those models are doing. So yeah,
good stuff.
That's it. Sorry, remember as well as Chris, yeah, check out the masters, and I'm going to say Rembrandt again.
Yeah.
And again, Rembrandt.
I like Rembrandt. Rembrandt's good. My favorite's Monet, but Monet has less dramatic lighting and more like impressionist romanticism. So
that's true.
I think before Monet went out to paint, he'd sit there and put Vaseline on his lenses.
He was a caricature artist. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't.
Yeah, he was a caricature artist, and he would get in trouble because he was a little bit of a snide kind of guy. He would push people's buttons.
Right. Nice.
Fun fact.
Artists pushing people's buttons?
Never.
Yeah, he when he first started doing his thing and people didn't like it, he did it excessively more, which is how his style got more flamboyant.
Yeah.
That's an art fact.
Now you all know, which is great. In terms of people in our chat who have been working on different stuff, Dave said a little bit earlier on, I'm working on a lot of glazing. I am still not satisfied with the shadow dragon I posted, and maybe it is getting shared today. I did not pull it. I'm sorry. I'll pull it next week, or maybe I can pull it right now because I know you're watching. I'll do you a favor, solid, so David can critique it while you're watching. And then David Moffat said, "I'm getting stuff done mode for the batch reps.
Battle reports.
Gotcha. Okay.
Ooh.
My next goal is to get and play around with enamel washes. That's cool.
Okay. Interesting.
And impressive.
Yeah.
So bat reps are for the actual gameplay, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not sure which bat reps do you do, Dave? You have to let us know. so we can check them out.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly. Speaking of enamel washes and other techniques and that kind of thing.
Yeah, what are enamel washes, real quick?
Oh, I wasn't going to talk about them, so I can't answer that question.
Oh. Whoops. David Moppet, tell us. All right, continue with what you were trying to say. Sorry.
Well, enamel washes are used for like a weathering technique.
Gotcha.
So you can put like a gloss varnish down, and then thin. You can just get a different consistency with enamel washes, and they're really good for really fine details. But I was going to say, last week we were talking about how I'd lost a number of different things, including some parts to my airbrush. Yep.
Yes.
So I placed an order for that, and I got notification this morning that the order is shipping.
Woohoo!
That's for the project with the Chaos Knights.
Right.
And part of that, the big part of that was using a new color from Tamiya, the Tamiya range. We were talking about that last week. And conversation about one of our local stores, Competition Minis, in the show last week. We were thinking about it, and then I think on Friday they announced that they were doing curbside pickup. I was like, I'm going to wait until I sent off another message to find out if my pot of paint was coming. And I said, I'm going to wait until Tuesday, and if they haven't responded to me by Tuesday, I'm going to order it from Competition Minis. Didn't hear from them by Tuesday. I put in my order, and like half an hour later, I got a notification. Hey, it's ready for pickup. You can come and get it. I got some other things like spray paints and so on. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to take a quick trip up to Competition Minis, pull up outside. Hey, I'm here. Here's my order number. And they're like, sure thing. Pop straight out, pop it through the window of the car, and it was all good.
That's awesome.
So now I have the paint, but I don't have the parts for my airbrush.
Oh, no.
I mention all this in line with techniques because once I get all of that done, I'm then going to use some oil techniques, weathering techniques for rust and rust streaking and stuff like that.
For Gaslands? Or no, still for
the Chaos Knights. For
the Knights.
Probably, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Since
So
Dave was...
Maybe by next week I'll be able to show some progress on that.
Oh yeah, that would be great. To see finally your Chaos Knights coming together with a little bit of color on them.
How's your dragon looking, Leona?
So my dragon, good question. I'm going to zoom up on myself. I have been basically just doing some base coloring, and I've been doing red, and then I've been creating a bone color because I don't actually have one in this Guild Ball Army Painter. So I've been using Castilian Tan, I think that's how you say that, and also a gold line white. I've been mixing those together to create like a tan for the body and the wings, which I've been working on.
It's looking good.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I figure, put some base coats down, and then next week I can kind of add some shade or washes.
Yeah, I mean, it feels really nice not to rush for once. Like, I can pick this up next week. I don't have to finish this in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Take my time.
It is nice. How about you, Gretchen? Where are you at on your dragon so far?
So I have started up with getting a kind of lime green gradient along its tummy here because I want that to be kind of my Northern Lights
Oh yeah,
color.
Cool.
And it looks more yellow up on here. I'll have to take a picture or something for a whip pick or something, but it has a lot more of green, almost glowy. And as we were talking about light sources, I was like, oh man, I wonder if I can actually add like little reflections or something. And I am using glittery green for that with some white. And also I've been using contrast paints brush around the edges to get that gradient.
Nice.
So that it's going to look really nice and bright and glowy. I'll probably have to go back there again and touch up bits because I want that really strong, bright white down the middle, kind of gradiating, is that a word, out towards the lime green to make it look really glowy. And then I'm base coating the rest, except for the inside of the wings, in Leviathan Blue, the contrast paints, because even though I want this to read as black when I'm done with it, I still want to have something not black to do all the shadows and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think a bluish kind of inky black look is going to do really nice for the majority of the dragon in the back of the wings to get that nighttime effect. And then inside, we're going to get creative. Not yet.
I don't know if we said it on the stream, but I did give Gretchen all of the shifter paints from Vallejo, so I believe we shall see those.
We shall. I'm probably going to end up putting them maybe on the black, maybe not. We shall see. It'll have to be after I'm done with everything. Do I think it will be most effective?
Right.
I think that's.
Why is there a gallon of milk on top of my fridge? That's a question for my boyfriend and not for me. On the top of our fridge, because previously, so now he puts gallons of milk up there, which is fine because he's in charge of the trash and he doesn't want to overflow the trash can. So he puts it there until he takes the trash out. But before, he would put empty liquor bottles. And I am short. So I actually gave myself a concussion opening the fridge, and an empty bottle of scotch came down and hit me on top of the head. And now we have a rule about things on top of the fridge.
Right.
Because he is tall, so he's like, that's where normal people put things. And I'm like, no, I can't see. I am 5'3".
Gotcha.
Not in my line of sight.
So a carton is allowed.
Yeah, a carton is allowed because we have a very small kitchen, so we have to maximize space with we have a little trash can. So we don't want to fill it with. He goes through milk. It's fine.
Dave, to answer your question about what David's bat raps were.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I said the word right. I like to focus on lesser known games, especially if they're solo or co-op. And he's done Star Breach, 5 Parsecs from Home, Panzer 8, I assume, and Rangers of Shadow Deep.
Excellent.
Oh, and Dave, now those parts have been shipped and you will find the part you lost, Justin says to you.
Oh, dude, I wish. You know when I'll find them? I'll find them as soon as I open the packet.
You will open.
I will open the packet, and 2 will fall out, and one of them will be my old one.
With like the paint still.
Yeah. Last week when we were talking about how I was waiting on that package from to arrive from games and stuff, and I was really hoping it would arrive while we're on the show.
Oh right.
Remember that? And
yes.
The show ended. Jeff said thank you and left the stream, and then immediately after that, it arrived
on your doorstep.
Well, yeah, but it was handed over the top of the computer. My daughter. I have them assembled as well.
Oh, nice.
No, where did you go?
Oh, Eddie, I missed this comment a little while ago, but Eddie Druid said another fun palette consideration: the undead may not see humans. Paint a mini representing heat radiation instead of visible light reflection.
Oh yeah,
that would be so cool.
That's pretty intense.
Really neat.
That sounds like an awesome Predator diorama.
Yeah.
Yep. That would be great. Or like a monochrome, low light, sort of green kind of look, like a Spec Ops kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, definitely a cool idea. I like that one.
Yeah, I love that.
That's the thing that I think would like look really good in a diorama versus a one-off like piece.
Yeah,
I think having a scene is what's going to make that be a thing.
I'm gonna a real nerd right now, but I've been watching through Avatar: The Last Airbender, and there's actually an episode. There's part of an episode where the light goes out, like the moon isn't there, and so then like the light source, they play with the light source, and so it's black and white, but then the bending powers are colored, and it's really unique how they do that. So that's kind of what it made me think of when they were talking about the heat radiation,
like signature, yeah,
type stuff. Also, for your idea for your wings, Gretchen, Roger said, that's a cool idea. I could use that for Count Strahd and his kids.
Yes.
I was thinking of how to do it. I like that idea.
I got my inspo, so I typically do the watercolors. I got my inspiration from all of those things on Etsy where people were doing galaxy paintings where you just kind of blend all the colors in. So I'm going to use contrast paints because I previously did a dragon that I painted to look like watercolor. And I think I can do that and mix it, thin it out with I have some glaze in here. And that way everything can kind of bloom and blend together and get that swirly galaxy vibe. And we'll see if it works or not. Maybe it will, maybe it won't.
Experiment.
Whatever happens, it'll look cool and I can cover it in glitter. So it's all.
And as we know, glitter fixes everything.
It does. And in fact, since I'm in my home, I have tons of craft glitter. So I could literally just dunk that baby in glitter if it looks wrong. I can just...
Oh, no.
Like, no, it's a glitter dragon. It's fine. No,
Leonora, I think you and I have very different ideas of fix.
Dave's like, oh, fix it. You can like use some nail polish remover, take off the paint. There's probably easier ways. No.
Yeah. One, like dunking it in glitter would be easy for sure.
I think that it'll turn out fine though. I don't think we'll have to hide our painting sins with glitter.
It'll be all good.
That's a thing that we'll have to worry about.
When Dave, you were talking about going to your friendly local game store and like ordering from them, I wanted to ask the people in our chat, have you guys been to your friendly local game store at all, if you can, or ordered from them? Like, have you been keeping in touch with them at all? Like, what is the situation out there? I'd be interested to know, because part of the thing at Alliance that they're doing is Gretchen and I are wearing them.
I'm not wearing them, but I did.
Oh, you're not?
I'm wearing the Batman shirt. But hold on, because it's literally 5 feet away from me because I wasn't supposed to forget.
Oh, that's okay.
I was just hold it up.
Just so you guys are aware, those of you who are watching, there's like a campaign going on that's like Back the Comeback, and it's just a way for you to show your appreciation for your friendly local game store or comic store. And if you want to buy a cool t-shirt, that money goes all towards charity as well. So it's just something kind of fun and cool to do, just to kind of, you know, get the excitement back as we open stuff up and do start opening safely and that sort of thing.
Yep.
Which is cool.
I right before the show, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot there are a few things that I wanted to get. So I sent Jeff a message and said, hey, do you have these in stock? We have these ones and those ones, but not the other ones. I was like, yes, if you can put those aside for me, that would be wonderful. But I think next week for games and stuff, they're actually are now able to open
Oh, awesome.
with restrictions and that sort of thing, but people will be able to enter the store.
Gotcha.
That'll be nice. I think Maryland is supposed to be moving into its phase whatever, so I say that because people try to follow the phases and then they change, and then half of the people don't follow.
It is a bit confusing.
Maryland's trying. They're doing a better job than other places.
Dave Schrumpf had said to get the stars on the galaxy patterns, there's always the brush flick method.
Oh yeah, that's what we're doing. That's a galaxy brain.
Tried and true method for brush. Roger Moore said he's ordered his shirt but has not received it yet. They are, I believe, closing orders like this week, so they should be out to you next week.
Should be shipping out next week? Or
there was they should be shipping out next week. So there was a period of time that they gave people to order the first batch of them.
Right.
Byron says that they go to the Knight's Arms in Stillwater, which is cool. Shout out to that store. And Kat had said, "Thank you, Gretchen. I've been Googling Celestial and Starry Night with the wrong results. Galaxy." That's what she needed to think of. Yeah,
Starry Night, you're not gonna get the same.
You're gonna get Van Gogh.
But you know what? I would love to see a miniature painted in the style of Van Gogh. I think that would be absolutely fun.
Sounds like a challenge.
You could.
Okay. I'm just thinking I feel like it would have to be the right miniature, yeah?
Oh yeah, like it couldn't just be like a little tiny, like you'd need maybe like a village or something large enough to where it would really showcase.
Yeah.
But it's possible.
Graham said, "Sadly, my local friendly game store is still closed, but he runs a local gaming Facebook page and have been encouraging their local gamers to use their delivery service." Which is definitely sorry that your local game store is still closed, but you can definitely still support them through ordering. And I know some stores now have been opening up ordering so that they can order to kind of anywhere. At least that's what
Jeff was saying.
Was saying, yeah. So definitely check that out as well to still support local. It just might not be your local. But it's still local too somewhere. And someone on Facebook said, "I go to Atomic Empire in North Carolina last Tuesday to buy paint." Woohoo!
Excellent.
That's awesome. Hopefully they're doing well. And David Moffat said, "My closest local game store, the Century Box in Calgary, opened on the 19th. And retail stores were allowed to open on the 14th, but they needed more time to get proper protection in order." So, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That is fair. Also, hello, Carl. Long time no see.
Hey, Carl.
Yeah. Also, would you guys like to look at some miniatures that were posted in the Facebook group?
Yes, because I have to stop touching this or else I'm going to ruin what I did.
There you go. It's a good time. We can start looking at groups. So for those of you guys who are watching, some of you might be familiar. We have a Painting Happy Little Minis Facebook group on Facebook, obviously. And that's a place where people can join and post their pictures, post their miniatures, but also post questions. Some of which we try and touch on during this live stream. But if you haven't joined yet, definitely join our Facebook group, especially if you enjoy mini painting. It's a great place to just sort of share your work and get excited about other people's miniatures. So throughout the week, I try to pick, this one. I try to pick photos from the group to showcase like what people have been working on. And I usually try and switch it up. So that's why, Dave Schrumpf, I didn't pick yours this week because we had already looked at one of yours last week. That's why that happened.
One thing, just before we jump into these, I'm going to say, we had a question in the group about highlighting a specific paint. What would be a good color to highlight? I think this case was Slanesh Gray, which is the game's paint.
I actually think Graham asked that.
Oh, it was Graham?
Mhm.
All right. I haven't actually used that paint before, and I made a couple of suggestions sort of based on looking at the color chart on the page. And then Dave jumped in and reminded me, not necessarily, not specifically by saying it, but he did remind me that Games Workshop have a Citadel color app. So if you are using GW paints, Citadel paints a lot, definitely download that app. It's free as far as I'm aware, which has a lot of great sort of color recipes in there, and it'll so you'll get to see sort of on your phone or iPad or whatever what colors are generally used to highlight a particular color you've got. So thanks very much for reminding me of that, Dave.
Yeah, that's such a great resource. And I remember looking at it a couple weeks ago, or almost a while ago now, and they do a really good job of breaking down like how the color mixture, what do you call color recipes?
Recipes, yeah.
Which is really nice.
I like the term recipes.
Yeah. We're baking here.
Yep. Now I'm going to be looking off to the side now because I've just moved the screen up to my larger screen.
That's fair.
And I've been checking out the
so first off, we have a picture from Gavin Williams, and
Excellent.
they finished. They just have the basis to finish on these Hungarian bike squad units.
They look very cool. I'm guessing they've been done for bolt action, but yeah, really nice job. Very cool. I got to say as well that I'm totally distracted by the models to the right.
Yeah, me too.
Like, what are those? Gavin, you've got to tell us. Those are awesome. Your Hungarian bikers are excellent. They look fantastic. I need to know what these other guys are.
Tell us. What are these?
Their feet are strapped to blades. They've got wings, and they have sort of bird heads. I need to know. Excellent. They're also on hexagonal bases, which kind of weirds me out. Yeah. I'm guessing they're from a board game.
This is Jason. Still a work in progress, but I did get the guns mounted.
Yep. It looks really good. I think Jason was saying that it's sort of the weathering, getting the weathering done is the next stage for it. But yeah, looking really good, Jason. I think yeah, the world is your oyster as far as the weathering goes from here. Get everything nice and neat. I love those the red panels at the back. Place. And then yeah, just get to go to town.
Now with the guns mounted.
Yep.
All right, we have William with still basing and then washing tomorrow.
There's little bones.
Yep.
That looks so cool. It looks like a little archaeological dig going on.
Bone.
Yep. That's why you should never lift up cobblestones. Leave cobblestones on the ground.
Well, did you know when I was in Italy, they said that all the cobblestones in like Italy and Rome are super, 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 super old. Like very old. They have not been touched. They're all like near original. And there are laws in place where you're not allowed to lift up those cobblestones. And so all the like when you're going on tours, they're like, oh yeah, there's ancient statues underneath our feet. We're just not allowed to touch them.
Yep.
So there's literally just dead people under cobblestones.
layer upon layer.
I feel like
I think it was. You were going to say, Leona?
I was just going to say, I think William was inspired by that.
It was inspired by that, or I think it was like one of the early English kings was discovered buried underneath a parking lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Richard?
Yes. Maybe?
Richard III, something like that. One of the Richards.
They found someone's old marriage bed in a hotel. The old kings.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
I'll
All the fun
facts. So many. As soon as you put bones next to cobblestones, it sends us off on a huge tangent. Sorry about that, William. But no, looking awesome. Yeah, I think couple of some like a general brown wash over that, and then maybe a couple of focused washes. Would look great.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Focus, like some patchy green washes would look really nice. But yeah, very cool. Wonder what's going to go on them.
Yeah. Also, apparently, Dave Trump said it was Richard III.
It was Richard III. Nice one.
So we have Ryan Cook, and she's going to cast an illusion spell.
I love her puppet.
It is awesome, isn't it?
He looks so ridiculously silly, and like his colors are so bright compared to her colors. Like, it's just so nice.
It does. It does really. It draws attention to that piece. But yeah, Ryan, like on everything else as well, Ryan's done a great job. I think I love that face.
Which one? This
really,
one?
Yeah.
She's so serious business, and his face is just so. Combo.
Yeah, no.
I can say I love all three of the faces on there. It's that rat as well.
1, 2.
Yeah. Way to make it hard for yourself, Brian. No, you've done an excellent job there. She looks great. Mariano, what an awesome troll. It's a very Lord of the Rings kind of feel. The movie version that troll had. I wonder if this is a conversion that Mariano's done. I think maybe it is. But yeah, looking very cool. I like the again, so the idea that the belly is lighter. That approach you're both taking with the dragons, but just because it's a great sort of natural animal / monster approach. Looking good, Mariano. Nice.
Yeah, looking nice. Don Slater with 3 Herman Walkers from Dust 1947.
Dust 1947. So
I'm not
Dust.
old enough to know Mr. Bill. What do you mean, Mr. Bill?
I think that is that something Dave referenced?
I think it was in the from that might be some connection to the hand puppet.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yes. Yeah. I was going to say, so with the dust models, you can buy dust models in two formats. One is primed, where they're primed in the sort of the base color of a particular faction, and the other one is the premium, where they're hand painted by some folks, like a team of painters in Hong Kong. But Dawn, I expect, has taken the primed models here and just gone to town on them. It's made a spectacular job.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, the weathering and the chipping along
the
side panels. Yeah,
look at that, y'all.
So you can see in there, going through and putting the number decals as well. Those would all be from a what do you call it? Sort of German Panzer decal sheet. Yeah, putting those down and then putting the weathering over the top. They look great, Don. Nice work.
Justin with I've been making terrain for years, and these are my first Gasland builds.
Excellent.
And also Justin is a new member, so that's exciting.
Hey, Justin. Justin is working with the Implements of Carnage sprue from North Star.
Nice.
I recognize the
this little guy.
Yeah, and the exhaust on the side. Yep. But yeah, looking good. So is that a Charger? A Dodge Charger? I think it might be.
You're asking me a car model today? I just said I watched Airbender.
Moving swiftly along, Justin.
All right. We have Luke with, he didn't actually say what these models were, but I thought they were cool. They're like little goblins, I believe.
Yeah, they got, can you zoom in a little bit?
Are they, there's a picture of
And a lizard thing right next to them in the book.
Yeah, they're not goblins. You're right. They are just lizard people.
Just lizard people? There's no thing
They're
such
living
as
their best life.
people. They're awesome lizard people. But yeah, so I think the interesting thing here, I think Justin's going with that. Sorry, who did these?
Luke.
Luke. Sorry, Luke's going with the green he's got here is a little bit brighter than a little bit more saturated, I guess, than the green in the book there. But I noticed just down to the right, some of the paints there, yeah, that greenish bone and the one to the right of it would work really well to desaturate some of those on the front. So as you're coming down into that, if you're going to do that similar sort of thing with the belly or the front of these creatures, it'd be awesome. Dave Trump says these are Reaper lizard men.
Yep.
Excellent.
Put that up there for you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh. Nice work, Luke. Look forward to seeing them done. Jason, what's this?
Again,
crazy.
did not say.
Dave Schrumpf, let us know.
Yes.
You zoom in and take a closer look.
I really like the cape.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
Really cool looking cape.
And then I'll go up so you can see the head-ish. There's the
Right.
face, I believe, right?
Is it?
Or is this the face?
Or is this the face?
What is this creature?
Oh no, she's coming out. It's a woman, and that's a dress. I think no.
And that's the back of it, but it's
Yeah, that's the back of her head.
Maybe I didn't pick the best picture.
perhaps not. Next time you'll pick the best picture.
Yeah.
But yeah, we might come back to this one.
We'll come back to this one next week.
I'm super intrigued. Nice work,
Because-
Jason.
Dave does not know, so our
Dave doesn't know. Maybe it's a one-off. Dave hasn't seen it before. I'm telling you.
Oh, Byron thought it was the Mind Flyer, maybe.
Okay.
Regardless, we'll check it next week.
Yeah, we'll check it.
Cirrus has a couple works in progress,
Oh, very cool.
which I just wanted to kind of showcase to say, like, on our group, you can post finished works, but you don't have to be finished. It's kind of nice sometimes to see the progress people have through their
definitely.
painting.
Definitely. So I know the model on the left is a Banshee, a Mirmorn Banshee from Age of Sigmar from Games Workshop. One on the right, I don't know. Kind of, it's not, I think, not from Games Workshop, but the basing is different. But it looks very, very cool. I'm guessing that the model is looking off to the right, to its right, our left, at the Banshee.
Help me!
Save itself, but yeah, looking cool. One of the fun parts with that Banshee is that the kind of the parts that look like they'd almost be like bed sheet, the classic goes bed sheet down that sort of there. They're actually passing through parts of scenery on the base. So, you see those just near where your cursor is, those dots there. Yeah, those are actually pieces of like wrought iron fencing that it's passing through.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Great job.
Neat. Look good there. Time to see them.
Orion with his first bust.
Ah,
And apparently their friend 3D printed this for them.
Okay. Wow. Nice.
that's really
So something super funny. So it's Ahsoka. I don't know how to pronounce it because I've never watched the animated series. But my friend and friend of the show, Brian C.P. Steele, hates this character with a passion.
oh.
So my broad sort of touching on this character is Brian's hatred for her.
Oh no.
So I kind of love this character, even though I don't know this character.
She's not
But
a
I think,
bad character.
but the paint job on this is just looking fantastic. I love the eyes.
Yeah, that's what I was
Really
gonna say.
beautifully done, and the I guess the war paint or the
Markings on her face.
markings, and also on the gold areas, particularly just above, just up there. Those highlights there just really push out the shape and the texture from there. So fantastic job. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, it really does look quite nice.
Just before you go on, I'm just going to make one suggestion.
Yeah.
Is you see where the it's used a brass rod to connect the bust to the base. I would just paint that brass rod black.
Oh, okay.
Just so that it fades out into the black, so everything can be focused just on the bust.
I think that's fair.
Done there. But yeah, beautiful work.
Matthew, with his first attempt at an orc, he still has lots to learn.
It's a very good orc.
It's a very cool orc, indeed. I love. Can we zoom in on the face?
Yeah.
There we go. Check that out. So the face has got a lot of detail in it already. The a lot of detail in sculpt, but I think it's done a great job of picking out those details, picking out the teeth. The teeth aren't just simply one color. There's some shading in there. There's a couple of highlights. The lens in the eye there as well. Great job. On the shoulder pads there, sort of up to the around the in those areas there. The chipping on the side of the sides of that. So you've got the black and then the chipping where the black paint would be worn off. Looking great. But definitely looking very cool. It's great. Great first orc mini. I mean.
First orc mini.
First orc. Yeah.
Which is nice.
Very cool. Nice.
Mike Evans, and they are calling this one done.
Okay.
I love the colors in this one.
Yeah, those are fun colors.
Yep, definitely. There's a lot of saturated colors in there. Like everything's very, not everything, but a lot of it's saturated, but it all works really well together. I guess having the blue and the purple and the pink sort of through there, they work well as those sort of complementary or adjacent colors on the color wheel. Looking super cool. And the
Yellow.
and just say yellow, the yellow bone is working as a great contrast color. Yeah, looking really nice. Great work, Mike.
Great work. Well, that is all that we have time to look at today, because we are actually coming to the end of our show. And I just wanted to touch in and see. Oh, Jason James says, I love that you can now zoom in on all the minis. Yes, magic.
How
Maybe
cool is that?
I know. Then you can if you have a high quality picture, it'll look great on screen. But yeah, so we're actually kind of getting toward the end of the show. So I wanted to check in with you guys and see what kind of progress you have made so far. So Dave, have you been able to
make any progress? No.
And sometimes folks, you just don't paint.
Yeah.
None at all, not even on a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So yeah, I got a little bit of there we go. Worked on that. Just throwing in a little bit of yellow and white mixed together for some highlights in the center. Now the next stage is to I got to do a little bit more of that, some higher white highlights, and then start working some orange back. So I'm going to use some of the Gryph-hound orange, the contrast paint, just to use it as a glaze really on the end points for those. But I think that'll end up looking pretty good. The yellow, once it goes on top of the beast, the yellow is going to work well against the purple.
Oh yeah.
And once I get that orange into the edges, that's going to work well against the blue of the beasts.
Of the back. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's
Love
how
it.
that's going on.
Very cool. And Gretchen, what have you been able to accomplish so far?
So I have all of my base colors, save for Under the Wings, down. So yeah, that's a pretty good for the amount of time we have, I think. Next step is going to be probably going through with the black and kind of getting that very dark, inky kind of night sky color going, and touching up the belly and if I want that to look a little glowy or not. And then it will be working on the adventure that will be this starry galaxy underwing thing.
I'm excited.
Maybe
I'm
I'll even
excited to see it.
fancy and paint some like constellations in there. Maybe not.
You do Orion's
That's the
belt.
great thing about constellations is apart from the Big Dipper, none of them really look like anything.
It's
Orion. Yeah, but a little shooting star in there or something. I don't know.
Those 4 stars that are in a row, that looks like a belt. Yes. As does this pen.
But yeah, so that's
incredible.
See,
Yeah.
belt.
Get that nice inky. Right now, it reminds me of the Maleficent dragon from Sleeping Beauty because it has that purpley black with that bright lime green.
Oh, Byron says you should post your dragon, Gretchen, so we can see your work in progress.
Work in progress. Yeah, I have some pictures of it. I can post it up and do that.
Excellent.
Also, I wanted to shout out Jason James, say thank you guys for taking the time every week to be with us. You have made this lockdown much more tolerable, and you've made this hobby more enjoyable as well. So I just wanted to say, like, you're welcome. We're happy to be here, and thank you guys for hanging out with us. We really enjoy it. It is great that we've been able to do that and just kind of stay connected even through quarantine. I just kind of want to take a time to say thanks to Dave and Gretchen for being part of it and working through all of our little kinks. But yeah, it's been really fun hanging out with you guys each and every Thursday. So make sure you guys tune in next week. We will be back on Thursday, and be sure to keep posting in the Facebook group. Join if you haven't, and if not, share it with your friends who you think might be interested in joining. It's always really fun to see the new people and the new questions that people have as we all kind of learn more about the hobby. And so, yeah, we're excited to see where our dragons go.
Well, I'm sure they will look fantastic.
Exactly. Maybe I'll even send one to Dave because I didn't. I was like, did I send Dave's to his? Nah.
It's not like I don't already have a lot of models. Like,
Right.
I'm
But
currently
you have dragons, Dave.
I'm like,
You have whimsy.
I have whimsical stuff. I think.
So
Maybe.
good. So
But
good.
yeah. Oh,
So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. We will see you all next week on Thursday. Bye.
Bye, guys.